MPs will vote again on how much of a say Parliament should have on Brexit after another House of Lords defeat for the government. Photo, Getty, Pascale Hughes 49 minutes Monday, June 18, 2018 The government has suffered a landslide defeat in the Lords in a vote over giving MPs a meaningful vote on the final Brexit deal. It will set up another Commons vote over how much of a say Parliament should have on Brexit. Peers backed an amendment to the EU Withdrawal Bill by 354 to 235, a majority of 119. There were 22 Conservative rebels who voted in favour of the amendment, including Tory former Deputy Prime Minister Lord Heseltine and Conservative former Ministers Lord Patna Barnes, Lord Willits and Baroness Worsey. Described by the former Tory minister as "grieved too," it would require the government to allow MPs to vote on how it would proceed in the absence of a Brexit deal by January 21 next year. Read more. Who is Dominic Grieve? The senior Tory MP who could scupper Theresa May's Brexit. It came after former Attorney General Dominic Grieve warned that Tory rebels could collapse the government if they disagree with the final outcome of withdrawal talks. Talks with Brussels. Prime Minister Theresa May has warned against any moves to tie her hands during negotiations with Brussels, saying on Monday that Parliament must not be able to overturn the will of the British people. The Prime Minister said she had been listening to the concerns of critics, but the legislation must not restrict her freedom in talks with Brussels. As we keep faith with people who voted to leave the European Union, and many of those who didn't but are now saying, let's just get on with it, we need to make sure we are putting this legislation into place, she said. But as we do that, of course we have been listening to concerns about the role of Parliament, but we need to make sure that Parliament can't tie the government's hands in negotiation and can't overturn the will of the British people. Neutral motion under government plans. If MPs reject the agreement reached by Mrs May with Brussels, or if no deal has been obtained by January 21, Parliament will be offered the opportunity to vote on a neutral motion, stating it has considered a minister's statement on the issue. Crucially, the motion will be unamendable, meaning MPs cannot insert a requirement for Mrs May to go back to the negotiating table, extend the Brexit transition or revoke the UK's withdrawal under Article 50. Slavery clause. Mr Grieve insisted rebels would only accept a meaningful vote, and not the slavery clause the government was offering. Lord Hailsham said that Mr Grieve, who watched the Brexit bill debate at the Bar of the Lords, believed he had made an agreement with the Solicitor General last week, but it appeared senior ministers had objected to it and it had now been repudiated. The peer said he was asking the Lords to allow MPs to vote on what Mr Grieve believed was agreed with the government. He added, the government's amendment not only fails to deliver the promised meaningful vote, that would be an act of omission and bad enough. But this is far worse. The government is seeking to make the promised meaningful vote impossible, and that is an act of commission contrary to what ministers have promised. Meaningful vote rejected. How? Key MPs voted on the Brexit amendment. Dominic Grieve, I'm prepared to collapse the government over Brexit vote. Ministers fear final Brexit deal might not be signed until December. iNews https://inews.co.uk